there are some concerns about some highly touted rookies that we just can't shake.
Going 101 in a 60 was not the first, but the second infraction of the month for Shedeur Sanders.
So with that said, how about we dive into 10 NFL rookies who are already showing major red flags? Shemar Stewart. Who else could we start this list with? The Cincinnati Bengals rolled the dice on the hulking Texas A&M defensive end with the number 17 selection, adding another talented pass rusher to help Trey Hendrickson. And yet, it already feels like the Bengals are feeling buyer's remorse on that pick. Stewart and the Bengals are nowhere close to finalizing his rookie contract. More than 2 months after the draft concluded, Stewart left mandatory minicamp with a deal that's not finalized, and it's a growing concern since rookie deals are usually routine and completed without issue. One issue with the negotiations? Well, according to Pro Football Talk, the Bengals want a contract clause saying a default by Stewart in any year of the contract would void all of his remaining guarantees. Yeah, I think you can see Stewart's concern and point of view. But that doesn't mean that there's not a red flag here. He was considered a boomer bust prospect ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft, and he's the only 2025 first-round pick engaged in a contract holdout. Nobody is winning from this contract standoff, and it just already feels like Stewart is setting himself up for a very rough rookie year. Shedeur Sanders. The top story of the 2025 NFL Draft was Sanders' stunning fall into round 5. Before Cam Ward boosted his stock, some thought Sanders could be the number 1 pick. At worst, Sanders is supposed to be a top 10 pick. Maybe if things got totally bizarre, he'd slip just outside the top 15. But I mean, come on, he's still gonna go early, right? Maybe to the New York Giants at number 3? Perhaps the Las Vegas Raiders at number 6? Certainly not leaving the New Orleans Saints at 10. Well, you see, something tremendously bizarre transpired. Sanders fell out of round 1, then out of round 2, and then out of round 3. Passed on in round 4, and finally, the Cleveland Browns took him in round 5 at number 144 overall. After his stunning draft slide, more reports surfaced that offered a clearer picture. Sanders apparently performed poorly in pre-draft interviews and seemed more worried about his own individual success than the team's operations. Others also reportedly worried that Deion Sanders would try to influence his usage, even though Primetime is coaching the Colorado Buffaloes in the NCAA. As expected, Sanders' arrival has brought a giant media circus to Cleveland. That's never ideal, especially if the QB hasn't proven anything yet. Oh, and news broke in June that Sanders received not 1, but 2 speeding tickets in Ohio. So yeah, we haven't seen Sanders take a snap yet, but he's already coming across as entitled and seems to think that he's absolutely untouchable. The Browns knew that they had to put up with the unnecessary media attention and headlines when they drafted him, but still, it's not worthwhile if he doesn't show anything productive on the field. Colston Loveland. The Chicago Bears used the number 10 pick on the Michigan product, which was a mild surprise since most scouts and analysts had Penn State's Tyler Warren as the top tight end in the class. But anyway, Loveland is still a very promising and exciting young weapon who should help Caleb Williams take it to another level. You know, if everything goes well. The reason Loveland lands on this list is the concerns about his health. Loveland required surgery to repair the AC joint in his right shoulder, and the hope is that he'll get cleared at some point during training camp. Yeah, keyword, hope. It's naturally worrisome that Loveland is recovering from a serious injury and has already missed a big chunk of the offseason activities. His health is the main concern here, but missing this much time means that there will be rust, and thus it'll take Loveland longer to familiarize himself with the team's offensive playbook. Only time will tell if the Bears' big risk pays off. Derrick Harmon. Many had Harmon as a first-round talent, but it was a bit of a surprise that the Pittsburgh Steelers reached for him at number 21 overall. Harmon comes with several red flags, plus the front 7 is far from a problem in Pittsburgh with TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Alex Highsmith leading the way. Leading up to the draft, it was reported that Harmon underwent an MRI at the Combine, where it was discovered that he had a partially torn rotator cuff and labral tear. The former Tennessee Titans GM Rand Carthen also expressed worry about Harmon as a prospect, stating that the Oregon defensive tackle is a high risk for longevity. Additionally, Harmon's ever-changing weight has to be monitored. I mean, just a few years ago, he was listed at 350 pounds. Then he dropped all the way down to 305, but was listed at 313 after the Steelers drafted him. With a serious shoulder injury and questions about his weight, Harmon is indeed a giant red flag heading into his rookie year. Steelers fans just have to trust that Mike Tomlin and company will keep him honest and disciplined now that he's a pro. Tyler Loop. The Baltimore Ravens released a longtime mainstay Justin Tucker following serious misconduct allegations. Tucker, coming off the worst season of his career, was subsequently handed a 10-game suspension by the NFL. So, the Ravens selected Arizona kicker Tyler Loop in round 6 with the number 186 pick, initially planning some competition with Tucker. But after the Ravens released the 7-time Pro Bowler, Loop was automatically slotted in as Baltimore's new starting kicker. But Loop has failed to make the most of the opportunity ahead of him, to say the very least. Ravens reporter Jeff Zrebeck of The Athletic reports that Loop has been rocky in practices, and that fellow rookie John Hoyland, an undrafted product out of Wyoming, has stood out. Thus, the Ravens appear to have a rookie kicker competition on their hands. A team that drafts as well as Baltimore didn't use a 6th-round pick on Loop to try out for their starting job. It was supposed to be his right off the bat, and yet it appears he's doing his part to lose it. So hey, pressure's on, kid. Pressure's on. Null Williams. After signing veterans Christian Fulton and Robert Rochelle, the Chiefs used the number 85 pick in round 3 on California's Null Williams. The Chiefs have always featured great cornerbacks under defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, so nobody should be surprised if Williams quickly emerges as an all-pro caliber talent in Kansas City. Well, actually, how about let's hold the horses on the hype? Yeah, so Chiefs secondary coach Dave Merritt was perfectly blunt with his early assessment of Williams during early offseason workouts. Merritt told reporters the following.
I think the kid is, his head is spinning a little bit, a lot of volume, but he's playing one position, corner. So I told him he's got to get ready to play some other positions. And so for that one position, he needs to just, continue to grow and pick it up as we see him growing into the player that we hope that he'll turn into. It's
very rare for an assistant coach of all people to publicly criticize one of their players, especially a rookie. It may have only been a 3rd-round pick, but a team in win-now mode like Kansas City took Williams to be an impact player right away. So keep an eye on him here. If Williams doesn't grow as Merritt ordered, Veach might have to pick up another veteran corner via trade or free agency. Benjamin Morrison. If it weren't for injuries, the Notre Dame product might have been a 1st-round pick. But alas, injuries caused the highly touted cornerback prospect to slide out of round 1 and into the waiting arms of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 53 overall. Morrison has the skill set and high football IQ to be a star in this league, but there's a reason why he fell in the draft. 1 year after suffering a quad injury in 2023, Morrison suffered a season-ending hip injury. Morrison had private workouts to try and boost his stock following the draft, and hey, clearly the Buccaneers liked what they saw to take a chance on him. But a season-ending hip surgery is no joke. It's one of the worst injuries a pro athlete, especially a football player, can suffer. Morrison has been able to ramp up his offseason workload gradually, but it doesn't take away the red flags about his health until we actually see him on the football field. Tampa believes that it's worth the risk. So I suppose they can only hope that they hit the jackpot on this one, because the bust potential is very, very high right now. Will Johnson. The Michigan cornerback was a consensus top 15 prospect heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. Depending on which expert or scout that you asked, some even viewed him as a potential top 5 selection. But after Shedeur Sanders, Johnson may have been the most stunning draft fall. He slipped out of round 1 with the Arizona Cardinals finally taking him in the 2nd round at number 47 overall. Johnson fell because of concerns about his health. He missed most of the 2024 season recovering from torn ligaments in his toe. Additionally, multiple NFL insiders reported Johnson had a knee injury that was flagged by other teams. The 2023 national champion missed the NFL scouting combine because of said toe injury, further hurting his draft stock. So here we are, toe and knee injury and a 22-year-old professional athlete's body. Yeesh. For a player who plays a skill position and thus relies aplenty on his speed and athleticism, I don't think we need to explain any further why Johnson is a red flag heading into his rookie season. Jackson Dart. The Ole Miss signal caller was widely regarded as the number 3 QB in the 2025 draft, behind Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Of course, Dart was the 2nd quarterback taken off the board when the New York Giants traded up via the Houston Texans to take him at number 25. There are several knocks against Dart compared to more recent highly touted quarterbacks, though. Among them, there have been whispers about an arrogant, obnoxious, and entitled attitude. And as Dave Richard of CBS Sports pointed out, Dart had a weak 60% completion percentage in the 4th quarter in his last year of college. Richard also noted that in his 4 NCAA seasons, Dart never threw a game-winning touchdown in the 4th quarter. Additionally, Dart has had a bit of a bad habit throwing careless interceptions in OTAs and minicamp. So, make of that as you will. Abdul Carter. If the Tennessee Titans didn't have a desperate need for a QB, Carter would have likely been the #1 pick. Carter and Travis Hunter were considered the two best all-around prospects in this class, but the Penn State edge rusher wound up going behind Cam Ward and Hunter at #3 overall to the Giants. One knock against Carter ahead of the draft was his 6'3" and 259-pound frame, considered undersized for an edge rusher in today's NFL. A shoulder injury and a stress reaction in his right foot added more concern for Carter, though he was fortunate to avoid surgery. Still, you don't want a 21-year-old turning pro with two worrisome injuries like that. Questions about Carter's character also ramped up before the draft. So, yeah, we'll see if he remains a good boy now that he's a pro. But hey, which other NFL rookies from the 2025 NFL Draft are already showing major flags? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.